Often we have anxiety and we don't know where it started, and we might think it started from something that happened at high school, for instance, but actually it started from something when you were in a child, and that's when this working with the subconscious mind really, really helps. I'm Bex Allen, and I help women overcome their emotional and mental distress through trauma healing. So I help them get off that emotional roller coaster that they've been living on for a long, long time and help them find their emotional freedom. A lot of the trauma healing work that I do, I use matrix re-imprinting, which is an advanced form of EFT tapping technique, which is emotional freedom technique. We work with the subconscious mind to heal trauma. So often we have, if we have a problem. Anxiety is a really good example of this, where we're not sure where it's come from. It gets triggered from lots and lots of different things. And using the subconscious mind, we actually get to the root of where it is, and then we heal it, transmute it. And it's a beautiful, powerful tool for trauma healing. I filmed a vlog last year when I decided that I was going to come off my psychiatric medication for bipolar. I had looked at trying to find information of other people who had gone down a path of coming off their medication, and I just really didn't find that much information. So I thought, right, I'm going to film this, knowing that one day I would put it together and actually share it with the world when I was ready. So the vlog shows the real crazy ups and downs of it all. There's lots of emotion in there, but it really does. It's a very real, realistic show of the journey. I discovered the EFT tapping just on YouTube, probably 18 months prior to my training as a practitioner. I literally just stumbled across it one day on YouTube, and it was just a tapping script on YouTube for anxiety, and I was experiencing really high amounts of anxiety at the time. And I'd done so many years worth of therapy, talking therapy, mindfulness, meditation, breathing techniques, and I'd never ever managed to actually relieve myself of these feelings. And when I discovered tapping, I couldn't believe how effective it was at actually moving that energy out of your body, that anxiety that you could really use within a few minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, depending how high the anxiety was. You could actually move it out of your body, and I just couldn't believe how well it worked. So that was what intrigued me to think, well, maybe I should look into becoming a practitioner and actually doing the training so I can help other people use it. And the other part of my job that I absolutely love is helping my clients find new ways to live, often using the tapping throughout, in between their sessions, and finding new ways to find calm when it happens, because obviously you can't be with a practitioner all the time, and you have to learn ways to manage your emotions as well as heal them. So it's the managing and the healing that really is what I love. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder when I was pregnant with my first child 13 years ago. I fell pregnant and stopped drinking and smoking and doing all the things that I had been doing, which turned out that they were my coping strategies, and my body just completely fell apart. I completely fell apart and ended up coming in under the wings of maternal mental health, and I was diagnosed then. And it was quite, it gave meaning to the struggles that I had experienced for probably the good 15 years prior to that. I'd experienced a lot of addiction and a lot of mental distress. I decided to come off my medication. Well, I've been thinking about coming off my medication for probably 18 months to 2 years, and looking at different ideas. I'd tried to research it. There wasn't an awful lot of clinical research out there. Then I went to a holistic wellbeing workshop, and there was a woman there, a gorgeous woman, who was talking about different ways that you can just basically for your well-being. And she touched on this product, the essential nutrient, daily essential nutrients. And I was really intrigued. And she shared some of the research that they had done. So I went home after that workshop and went and did my own research through, looking at the studies that they had done. And I was really intrigued. But at the time, my husband and I were a little bit nervous about whether we should do it or not, because, we'd been through a long, long time of, me not being well. And we were really worried that if I came off my medication, that I might end up really unwell again. So we kind of left it for a while. And then I started getting health issues. And that was the main driver behind me coming off, or really, really wanting to come off. And, I was thinking, well, if I was 39 at the time and I'd been on medication for 11 years. And I thought, well, if this is what's happened after 11 years, I've got a lot of life left to live. I really was curious about what life would look like for me drug-free. So I went back to the Hardy Nutritionals website, and I started talking to people. So that was my driver. When I first decided I was going to come off my medication, I had first originally gone to see my GP, and I wasn't really that pleased about the plan that my GP had come up with. He had gone off and sought advice from a psychiatrist. I had refused to actually want to going to see the psychiatrist because I knew what they were going to say. And so I started doing this, my doctor had decided that it was a good idea. Well, he'd been advised for me to come off my medication, one medication at a time. I was on 3 different medications, one medication at a time, and very, very slowly. And because I was having these physical, symptoms from the lithium that I was taking, lithium was the first one I wanted to come off, and that was the last one that he wanted to take me off. So I thought, I'm going to go and look into this a little bit further. So then I went into the daily essential nutrients and really looking into that, talking to the biochemists at Hardy Nutritionals, just to get my head around how it might actually work for me. And I had a great conversation with one of the guys there. He was saying, because one of my biggest worries was coming off lithium. The research that I'd done was that if you come off it too quickly, you can bounce back into another bipolar episode. And he was saying that, that the lithium is different from a lot of other psychiatric medications because it's a mineral, whereas the other ones aren't. And the daily essential nutrients is really high in minerals. And he says that it works really well for bipolar because of that, because of the minerals in it actually take over the lithium. And it was... from that conversation, I was like, right, that's it. I'm sold. I'm going to try this. And it was, best thing I've ever done. I am now off all of my medications completely. I came off 2 of the 3 within 8 reductions over a 4-month period. It was super quick and super easy. And the last one took me another month to 6 weeks to come off. I was just experiencing some withdrawal symptoms in my body, and it paid to go a bit slower, a little bit easier, and take a little bit longer before I came off it. So I've been completely off everything for 10 months. I no longer have any bipolar mood swings now. I would consider my moods to be very normal. I do experience, I am a highly emotive person. I feel my feelings, and that's how I was born, and I don't put it down to anything to do with mental health. I feel my feelings. So I do still, of course, experience moods. I get angry and I get happy and I get sad. The difference now is that I don't stay there. I can bounce back so much quicker. But I do put a lot of that down to the work that I've done as well, not just the essential nutrients, but also the mental health work, behind the scenes, the trauma healing, all that therapy that I did, cognitive behavioral therapy, learning different ways to live. I think it all comes together. I haven't had any manic or depressive episodes since I've been on the daily essential nutrients. My sleep now is what I would consider to be what any normal person has sleep to be as well. I did experience quite a lot of sleep disturbance through a period of coming off the medication, And I put that down to the fact that one of the medications I was on, quetiapine, was a medication to help me sleep. And I'd been reliant on that for 7 years, and it was a very heavy medication. So it took me some time to get used to the sleep disturbances. And the sleep disturbances were just through the phase of it's sort of like a up and down phase of when you're coming off the medication. And when you're heading towards needing another reduction, you start feeling quite a lot of side effects of your medication. It's just, they've been really powered up in your body. And that was the time that I was having a lot of sleep disturbances. But now I sleep 6 to 8 hours every night, and it feels wonderful. If I miss a dose of the Den, I don't notice anything. I have went through a period when we were having the COVID lockdown. I knew that I didn't have enough of the daily essential nutrients to get me through, so I lowered my dose to sort of get me over that period. And I didn't actually notice too much of a difference. And I started thinking, maybe I can maintain on a lower dose. And I carried on doing that for probably another month. And I slowly started noticing just feeling a little bit lower than I, usually felt. So I went back to the full therapeutic dose. And within a week, I was back to feeling fabulous. I see the daily essential nutrients being a key aspect of my well-being for life.